First time I sneeze.
Collegiate sports is on the front page of media every single day. Recently, you probably heard about the LSU and Alabama game for the BCS National Championship. This was the biggest collegiate event that has occurred lately. College athletes and revenue-producing sports should not be compensated for their services. I am a college athlete, and college athletics is a huge part of your society. College athletes are there in college for one to get an education. They shouldn't be compensated as a professional does. And Title IX also restricts that they're not allowed to do this. Getting an education. Education is what you go to college for. Yeah, we all go, even though I, as a college athlete, I'm still getting my education as well as playing the sport that I love. I'm getting a free education, dorms, you get food, you get jerseys. You're getting compensated with enough stuff to begin with. And you're getting financial aid to go to school. It's not fair for students that are just going to school to not receive compensation, not receive money to go to school if a college athlete does, whether it be in a revenue-producing sport or not. You are a student athlete for a reason. You are a student before you are an athlete. Saying that, a lot of students that go to college just to study their major and may or not be on academic scholarship, they have to go out and get jobs to help their parents or whoever pay for their college or pay off loans that they may have in the future. They're going to school and working a job on top of that. And they're sitting here trying to tell us that players that all they do is play football or men's basketball in college should get money just because they're idols and they're in revenue-producing sports. TheCollegeVoice.com said this about education. This seems like a valid approach. Given the success of the students at the school, if students are limited by an imbalance of values between athletics and academics, can they ever be allowed to reach their maximum potential as athletes while excelling in their studies? So basically they're saying that being an athlete is over being a student, and that's how it should never be that way. Also with this is the compensation, which is, receiving money, which amateurs are not allowed to do. Only professionals are. You're a professional for a reason. You're getting paid to play a sport. That is your job. That is your occupation. Being a college athlete, that's not an occupation. You don't get paid to do that. You're getting financial aid and awarded scholarship to get to do what you love. Yeah, maybe the next level is professional, but there's a fine line between amateurism, which is being in college, and being a professional athlete and getting paid. Dan Casaval said this from Imprint Magazine. This is the very definition of a professional athlete. One who earns a wage in his specific field. He is getting paid to play that sport. He is not getting paid to do anything else but play that sport. There's no longer an education about it. That sport is his occupation. Dan also said this about compensation. The NCAA throws around the word amateurism far too often. When Tiger Woods was in college, he got heat from the NCAA officials because Arnold Palmer took him out to lunch. There's a fine line between remaining an amateur and becoming a pro in the eyes of the NCAA. Just for going out to lunch with a professional, a legend in the golf game, Arnold Palmer, Tiger Woods got into some serious trouble and under serious heat just for going out to lunch. Whether or not Arnold bought the lunch or not, that's not part of this. But the NCAA is so strict about being compensated, for athletes, that just over a lunch he could have lost his scholarship and may have never been able to step foot into college again. The biggest bet of this college athletes and revenue-producing sports being compensated for their services is Title IX. Title IX is a law that was enacted in 1972 in the United States, and it began over gender between men and women and their scholarships. Title IX says this: no person in the U.S. shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in or denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal aid. That is what literally the law says, and that is out of the University of Ohio Library. Basically, Title IX is saying that scholarships should be received in equality. There should be no discrimination against age, gender, whatever. Everybody should have the equal opportunity to earn federal aid to get an education or be an athlete in college. There was a huge court event that happened where a defense attorney named Gambardella was defending her college over the volleyball team suing them. ESPN.com's Michelle Vopel said this that had to relate to Title IX. Gambardella thinks that there is likely no viable end around Title IX. To pay only those athletes who are in profitable sports, which generally are football and men's basketball. Football and men's basketball are the most revenue-producing sports in college. Although Title IX does not allow a single person or a single sport to receive money on top of their scholarship, it is saying that if it ever happened, Title IX would not allow these revenue-producing sports to receive extra aid to compensate for their revenue-producing sports. And it was saying that because there's no equality. You can't give football and men's basketball extra money and not give volleyball, softball, cricket, bowling, etc. no money on top of them. College sports is a huge part of our society. It goes around every day. You hear about it on the news, in the media, the radio, the television, video games, everywhere. It is a huge part of our society. It is today. It will be next year. It will be still a big part of our society 25 years from now. It is everywhere. But the biggest thing about college is they need to get an education first. They should not be compensated as collegiate athletes. Only professionals deserve that. And Title IX will never allow college athletes in revenue-producing sports to ever be compensated for their services. Thank you.